and welcome to the DAYnamics Show, where we remind you to align with your dynamic well-being every day. I'm Marianna, your guide on today's journey. First, thank you very much for being with us, and know there is a reason you are here. I mean, whether our podcast resonates with you, evokes more thought, sparks disagreement, it's all part of the journey to find your balance on this subject. So our unscripted and unpredictable off-the-cuff recording will explore the topic and subject of, are you a reality junkie? So I'd like to set the tone for our time together because the intention is to experience this show fully and dynamically. So I ask that you bring your attention to this now moment and listen with an open heart and an open mind. I'm often asked why I pick a topic, and this topic was chosen for, actually, first of all, when I brought it across to a few people, they just laughed and thought it was funny because they are. Sometimes they may or may not want to admit it, but they're very grounded into what reality is and not realizing that that changes all the time. And we can get so grounded in reality that that reality isn't even real anymore, or it becomes so real that you get so wrapped up in it, you don't realize you do have different choices because everything is always changing. A question for our listeners. Where do you think you are on the reality scale? Are you a full-time reality junkie that it's just like, because you can see it, taste it, hear it, smell it, be it, that's your reality and that's all that there is? Or are you on the other end of that where it's like reality is what I make it? So there is two sides to this reality, whether you're a what is person or I know I co-create this, so I will make my own reality. So let's explore this a little bit more. What is your reality? Like in simpler terms, what is real for you? Or what do you want to be real for you? And do you take what is as that is the only option about something? So a point that I do want to make here is, I mean, you live and create in this physical reality. So, you use your senses and you're creating in it. You're actually co-creating in it for those that want to be clear on what is actually happening. You actually have the ability to co-create on everything. Now, perception is a whole different reality, and we'll talk about that probably a little bit later. And if not, we have lots of blogs and recordings that talk about perceptions. So if it's a state of things as they actually exist, but if everything is constantly moving and changing, which is, a scientific thing, like energy is always in motion, how can reality stay reality for very long? Think about that for a minute. If reality is the sum of all the moments to now, isn't the now where your power is? And the other point around that is, like, what is real anymore? I think what's real is what's real for you. You look at all the AI stuff coming up right now and how, I think I mentioned it in my vehicle video, is that I looked at this post, I don't know where it was, some social media platform, and I was just like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. That is like the most amazing thing. And then the first comment on that below was, is this real or is this AI generated? Because it was so brilliant. And then the next comment below that said, oh, that's AI generated because I saw it on a different page as well. So again, what is real and what is manufactured to look real, or what is your reality, which to me, it always goes back to reality is what you want it to be. What is real for you, what you can be comfortable with, what you can and want to believe and perceive, and then make it the truth for you. But, and when I say but, it's more about be open to the change of that, because things are changing all the time. I just wanted to ask you as the audience is like, what is real for you? Like, or what do you want to be real for you? I mean, if you're that one that's constantly creating your reality, what do you want it to be? So if reality, like again, is a like a dynamic force constantly shifting and evolving, how can you confine yourself to accept a current reality that is a truth if you don't like what you hear? Let's give an example on that, a story. Well, probably two. So one is the weather. It is, constantly changing. So it's just like, oh, well, it is what it is. It says it's going to rain out. That's what the forecast says. So that's going to be the reality of the day. And you change all your plans around that because that's what someone else has said is going to be real for today when it comes to the weather. It's constantly changing. It's, again, can only be a reality after it's been manifested. And you believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. The other example of that could be with going to a doctor and they say, this is your test results, this is this. Now, in that moment, that is a fact. That's a reality. That's the way it is. But is that what you want? Is that what you want to keep? Do you want to believe that? Do you want that to make it, do you want that to be real for you? Or do you go, okay, thanks for letting me know what my body is doing right now, but I'm going to make some changes in my life and do whatever is necessary to find the balance again. And then that will become my reality. See, we sometimes hold on to what someone else has said as, oh, this is real and it's just the way it is. And then change and create our whole life around what someone else has said. Now, doesn't have to be a doctor. It could be a dentist. It could be a teacher. It could be a parent. It could be a friend, a partner, whatever it might be. If that's what they're saying, and you choose to take it on instead of going within and going, what do I want my reality to be around any subject? Not just, like I said, getting one specific subject and then, focusing on that and saying, well, so-and-so said, so that means it's true. So again, everything is constantly changing. So what's real for you is what you want it to be real for you. We had this conversation a while back and it was interesting because it was when I was working and I never thought of this before. I was working on the back of the plane when I was in my flight attendant years, and someone had gone to, we're preparing to go to the washroom. And I'll never forget this because it's really stuck with me. They're like, oh, is this is there anyone in the washroom? And the other person that was with me, my flight attendant teammate, said, "Oh yeah, it's green, so green is go, so you can go in." And then the person, I'll never forget this, looked at them and said, "Sorry, I'm colorblind. I can't tell what color that is." What was real for us, thinking that they knew the color of that, and and even stop, and if you think of that, even stoplight, green, go, yellow, or sorry, green, red, yellow, is that if you don't know if you can't see them properly, then you wouldn't know how to proceed or stop or yield. And I thought, so what was real for them was it was just there was no color, and that's why they asked. So from that point on, I was like, of course, if someone says is a washroom empty when they're coming to the back of the plane to use it, I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. We take things for granted when other people are having a different reality. It sat with me, and it made me more compassionate and understanding. The take home from this is, what do I want my reality to look like? That is a really cool question to ask. And if you hear yourself saying like, "Oh, it's real because," or "It's just the way it is," or it is what it is," again, that is that a stop? Is that a poor me? Is that I'm a victim to this? Or is this like a positive thing? Oh, it's the way it is. I'm this, I'm that. I feel good about it. So it's equally about how you want to feel around something too. If you're not feeling good around something, change the reality of it. You have that option. Your power is right now. It's not in someone else's verbiage or something outside of you. It's you, and whatever connection that you have to your own inner guidance or inner God or inner energy or source or whatever you want to call it. It's that relationship you have with that, and the reality that you want to have unfold versus what is, again, because this second's already gone. It's a new second. So what now? You have the power, and the power is now to create the reality that you want. So if you're up for it, do it. If you're not, that's all good too. This is to bring conscious awareness around, are you a reality junkie? Because reality junkie sometimes is just like, yeah, this is real and this is it. It's so funny sometimes because I'm not a big news person, but when you watch the news, it's constantly changing. And we did a test on this one time a while back, many years ago. Take the week and then look at different channels when we used to have cable and go, how are they bringing across this story? Because you're trying to get to the truth of something. You're trying to get to the like what's really happening. But what's really happening is constantly changing too. I found it fascinating that every channel was saying something different about the same subject. And it could have changed, from day to day, but it was still the same core subject about something. Again, what is your reality? What do you want your reality to be? Move forward from that point. What do I want my reality to be instead? And sometimes that can be lonely. Sometimes that can be unpopular, that you're not going with the social realms or social understanding or social acceptance on a certain subject. But I believe in you. We believe in you. You can have whatever reality you want to. And I find sometimes too that the people that have those unique perspectives that are willing to have the bigger overview on something and see all sides and find their balance, they're the cool kids in the bunch. So again, that question you can ask is like, what do I want my reality to be? And then instead of getting down on yourself, just like, no, I'm doing this again. That's okay. What do I want my reality to be now? Constant changing, constant movement means constant ability to change your mind. What I know is real for me right now is I am so grateful that our listeners are here. Our audience is supportive, and we have compelling shows coming up and some potent past recordings. So go see what catches your attention on our website, DAYnamicsShow.info. Plus, read a more defined definition on dynamic if you're not quite sure what that is yet. Oh, and I do need to add that all materials are copyrighted and are for informational purposes. So until we meet again, thank you for listening, and make it a dynamic day, whatever is real for you.